To have that excitement and joy for a month and then to find out you're losing a baby, it devastates you. It just felt like everything joyful in your life kind of gets ripped from you.
We met in high school. We started dating at the beginning of our senior year. We went to homecoming together and ran cross country together. And then about a month later, we officially started dating. And then after high school, we both went to college. It was a long distance relationship for a couple of years. Kendra was at OIT in Klamath Falls. And so then when she graduated from college, I decided to go back to school for another year. And then during that time, we got engaged.
And then we got married in October of 2013. We bought a house and, a couple years after that. And we were just in our careers, enjoying life. And then about 2017, the summer of 2017, we started talking seriously about kids and started trying that summer. It took a lot longer than we expected it to. It just seemed like everyone got pregnant so quickly, and so when we weren't, it was a little bit discouraging. 6 to 8 months in, I started doing some infertility acupuncture and just doing some stuff like just a more homeopathic way of just helping us like medically trying to get pregnant. A couple months into the infertility treatment, we found out that we were pregnant. I was starting Pinterest boards. I had started an Amazon registry. You were looking up jogging strollers. We were so excited and so ready to start that process.
Yeah, just really happy. It's something we've been hoping and praying for a long time, and it was finally happening.
So we set up some appointments, and then we had our first ultrasound appointment scheduled, and we went to that. It was pretty quiet and awkward, I would say, like that ultrasound. Like the tech wasn't talking to us really a whole lot during it, and like there was something off.
I don't think, we thought anything was really wrong at that point, but just really just kind of unsure of what was going on.
Yeah, like a deep sinking feeling that something was wrong. And then that night, about 9:30 p.m., we got a call from a midwife, and she told us that the pregnancy didn't look viable and that we needed to go see an OBGYN.
Her body actually thought she was still pregnant, so she was, showing all the normal signs and symptoms of being pregnant.
So it was just a shock. So we were just kind of left with, we weren't having a baby, and this was about a month in. Definitely was devastating and heartbreaking. We talked to the OBGYN, and he did an ultrasound, and he wanted to make sure that the diagnosis was the same. So we did have to wait another week, which was really excruciating. And there was like this glimmer of hope that, maybe this was gonna still be, like maybe I was still gonna have a baby, but then there was also like the unlikelihood that we knew that it was probably not. That next week, we had scheduled the follow-up ultrasound with our doctor, and then he also scheduled a D&C, medical procedure, surgery to let the miscarriage go. So that was like really hard having both of those things, like on the table. The appointment was short, quick, to the point, and it was, confirmed that we were having a miscarriage, and the baby just like wouldn't let go. So I went and had surgery that afternoon. My recovery was really straightforward, but it was just like really emotionally draining, and I felt like really raw from everything. To have that excitement and joy for a month and then to find out you're losing a baby, it devastates you. I just felt really hopeless and sad, and just felt like everything joyful in your life kind of gets ripped from you. What do we do now? That was the feeling. Like, how do I move forward in this?
I mean, it was this loss of kind of like these hopes and dreams and plans that we were making together. I think my focus, a lot of it was just on Kendra and helping her through, the grief that she was experiencing, while at the same time, trying not to push down or ignore what I was going through.
Even in the middle of miscarrying, like, I wrote stuff about hope and how I felt hopeful through it, and I knew that, like, God still loved me despite what we were going through. Even though it didn't look the way I wanted it to look, I felt like God was still there. God was still present, and I felt his hope through it. And I think that was really what kind of got me moving, got me going. And I think just with grief and how it works, it comes and goes in big waves.
Like, there'd be days where we're doing really well and other days where just kind of cried all day, and I think it's just being accepting of kind of where we were at and how we were experiencing our grief, and not trying to put our expectations on how things were supposed to be or how we're supposed to feel. Before this, I didn't feel like I knew very many people who had gone through a miscarriage, and once we started talking about it to other people, just finding out that lots of people that we know had actually experienced a miscarriage, and that it's something that's actually really common. So I think reaching out to other people and people reaching out to us was really helpful. It could have been easy just to kind of withdraw from God and other people and even each other, and just be angry and bitter about our situation. But I think, God was pulling us towards connection, connecting with each other, connecting with other people, connecting, closer to God.
One of my friends actually had dropped off a book in a care basket for me. The book was published like the month before our miscarriage, and she handed it to me and was like, I've never read it, but I've heard really good things. Like, there was a connection that she had with the author, and I started reading it, and it ministered to me. It's talking about grieving with hope after miscarriage and loss. Like, it's particularly written towards people going through this. And so I think God definitely was orchestrating all of these things at just the right time for us. Throughout the grieving process, we were still trying to have a baby. We never really stopped. I think for me, trying after the miscarriage was a lot harder because every time I wasn't pregnant, it kind of felt like a little bit harder of a hit for me. I look back and I'm glad it took us a while, a little while longer to get pregnant. Going through that process of grieving was really important, and being able to find hope within that, but also looking towards the future. The fact that we've gone through this and have had this experience has given me so much more empathy towards others who are experiencing this. Because God gave us a need, and we were strengthened by other people, we can see how God leads us to help others who are going through the same thing.
Kind of the broken places in our heart gives us the opportunity to help people who are hurting in the same ways. I
think for me, the biggest thing that God has done in my life through this is that he's given me a different lens to see life through. I definitely can, connect with other people better. I can see God through a different light. I think my tendency is to think he's smaller when I'm going through pain, but I've seen him expand to a bigger God. He's gone through the depth with me, of things that I thought I couldn't handle. Of course, we did get pregnant again, and that was a wonderful thing. We're so excited that we got to start a family and have a little member added to us. But I think If he was only my only hope, I would be still a mess. Hope came like from letting go of what I really wanted, like, and giving God full control of where he wanted me to be.
You know, a lot of these situations are outside of our control. I think when we come up against that, instead of fighting it or trying to gain some sort of control over it, but just allowing it to be an invitation from God to change something in our own hearts and just give us new opportunities for connection with people and with God.